as well as Coffee and Cookie with Rabbi. I have my coffee here. Thank you, Sherry. And then my J-Lee cookie. Thank you. I have to say thank you to both of them. Both were on vacation, and both thought of me before they went on vacation and made sure an ample supply of both the coffee and the cookie. So thank you. But let me tell you, ladies, time's running out, stockpile's getting low, and I'm just kidding. Anyway, have you ever felt like, time really is running out, I got to, and there's only so much, 24 hours in a day. And, well, I'm getting older, and I feel like time is running out. Not because I think my life is going to end or something like that real soon, but I only have so many years I can still be productive for the Lord. And I want to make sure I accomplish as much as I can in Him and for Him as possible. And so I want to be aware at the time, and I want to be aware of what's going on. Also, I think time is running out as I look at the world around me. You go to Walmart, and here's a guy sitting on the corner smoking a crack pipe. No fear, nothing. I think time's running out. Okay, if I look at what's going on in the streets of Pueblo at night, I know time's running out for a lot of people. We just have so much heavy crime, drive-by shootings, and Pueblo's not much different than any place in the whole world anymore. So, time's running out. Yom Kippur starts tonight at synagogue at 6 o'clock. It's going to go from 6 tonight to 6 tomorrow night. That's our 24-hour period. And I want to let you know there's certain things that must be done before the last trumpet, which, by the way, is a very significant term in the Bible. One of the things we have to do is try to get our own lives back into balance to some degree, with God's help, mind you. Always, always, always with God's help. So, time's running out. Got to dip the cookie. One more thing off my checklist. And that was a good one. Now think about it for a moment. Are there areas in your life where time is running out? Well, like most people, the answer is going to be yes. You got to get this done before the kids come home. You got to go to work and get this accomplished for the boss. Time, tick-tock, tick-tock. It's constantly running. And there are, interesting enough, some people who are not clock-oriented. Just kind of casual and flow. You know what I mean? Me, I'm kind of a clock stickler. I hate being late. And if I'm not 5 to 10 minutes early, I know I'm late. So anyway, but Yom Kippur starts tonight at 6. I don't want to be late. And before it ends, I want to make sure I've got all the things I need to take care of done. Make my apologies, did my repentances, caught up on my tithe, all those things. I don't want to go into the new year with last year's baggage. So time is running out for me to get it done. So I'm working extra hard today and extra praying tomorrow to get it all done. I want to walk into our new year after the last trumpet on Yom Kippur. I want to walk into the new year knowing it's finished, knowing I did my best. But time is running out for all of us, one way or the other. I don't care how young you are, the clock is ticking. And if you're like myself and you're a person who really believes, you want to make sure you capitalize on what time you have. Let me read to you this morning from the book of Ephesians, and I'm going to be reading from chapter 5, starting in verse 14. Therefore he says, awake, you who sleep, Arise from the dead, and Christ will give you light. See then that you walk circumspectly, which means upright, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. I want to redeem the time. I can save money, but I can't save time. Every time I think I'm saving time, I'm just making more room to cram more stuff in. And those who think that they can multitask, well, you might be able to get away with it on some low-level things. I mean, if I throw my wash in the washing machine, my laundry there, and it ticks off for an hour, sure, I can double up. But I can't do that with the things of God. I can't double down on his things. And I want to redeem the time and make the most of it. As it said, let's see, let me go back here and read the line again. See that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. And I think you and I can agree that the days are evil. So here's the reality. Don't wait in the things of the Lord. I will put off the things of the world before I put off the things of God. I will pay my tithe before I pay my power bill. That's right. That's the thing of God. I will wake up in the morning and go to prayers before I eat my breakfast, because that's what's important. Prioritizing is the best way to make sure you can get everything done. I'm going to give you 2 more suggestions on how to actually get more accomplished in the Lord. Just like having a budget, a financial budget, is essential to stay on track. I'm going to suggest to you that you need a time budget. Actually sit down and create a time budget, Monday through Sunday, okay? And then what you do with a time budget is you write out what you have to do when. And then in this time budget, you carve out the things that are important. Like you're going to have to take care of the kids, or you're going to have to go to work. Those things, just block them out because that's a given. But what about your prayer time or your study time, or time for fellowship, and time for personal play? Play. That is healthy. That's good mental, spiritual health. Some people get so exhausted because they didn't make the time. You can't find it. You got to make it. You got to make the time to have a balanced life. And you got to make the time for the Lord. I talked to a young man recently who said he just couldn't find the time. And you know what? He was right. He can't. He has to make the time to be with the Lord. Now, other things like you got family and friends who don't know the Lord, who are destined for the lake of fire because they don't know the Messiah. They haven't met Yeshua. They haven't come to Jesus. Whatever term you want to use. Do you have friends that are going to slip away? Well, guess what? The clock is ticking, and we may hold the key to their life. I want to make sure that I have fellowship with my brothers and sisters in the Lord, but I also want to make sure I have time and all that, okay, for witnessing to other people, to sharing the Lord, maybe with my family or friends or acquaintances or people on the job. I have to make the time. I have to be smart about when, especially on the job, I will talk about the Lord. And maybe the best thing you can do is when you're not on the job, you can go to a coffee place and have a cookie and be able to explain to them, okay, the joy of your salvation. And if you don't have any joy of your salvation, just be quiet and find out why you don't. Start off with that. Why? Clock is ticking, folks. The clock is ticking. So I want to make sure that I don't leave any of my loved ones behind, at least without a good, honest witness of who Yeshua is. Now, a witness is not a preacher. You can't go to your sister and go, well, dear sister, I want you to know that the Lord Jesus comes to you. You know, leave that to the pastor. Leave it to the preacher. The witness is when you say, let me tell you why my faith is important. Or let me tell you what God has done for me. And you bear witness specifically, point by point, what God has done for you. That's witnessing. When you say, I was hungry, and at 4 o'clock, the Uber man showed up at my door with food already paid for. Just kind of wild example. I was sick, and the elders prayed for me, and I was healed. Not over time, I was healed. It can also be as simple as when I was down and depressed, and they prayed for me. My spirits were lifted. I was restored. I felt so stinking guilty because of all my sins. And Yeshua, Jesus, came and delivered me even from myself, from my own guilt. When we give a witness, okay, it's about the things, specific things God has done. People want to know that God is a God of power and a God of might. And when we witness, not preach, when we witness, then they can hear our voice and sense the power of God in our testimony. And we need to do it before time runs out for them and for yourself. Let me tell you a story about my dad. My dad was never a religious man all the time I was growing up. In fact, when I became a believer, I think he hid from me a number of times. So not to put up with my preaching. And one day, he lived in Detroit. Of course, I was living in Colorado. One day, a guy knocked on the door. It was a Baptist preacher who talked to my dad and led him to the Lord on the spot. Led him to the Lord. Great. My old man's got fire insurance. Well, at least I thought it was fire insurance. Well, he got sick, cancer, of course, like everybody else. And when he was close to dying, he was in the hospital. He called me from the hospital. Now, my dad had always been a bit of a racist. I'll just be honest, he was. And he calls me up and says, son, they put a black boy in my room. And I thought to myself, oh, no, Dad, not now. This is the wrong time. But then he said, and I've been witnessing to him, and he's ready to receive the Lord. And I thought, oh, yeah, my old man, the soul winner. It was my dad's time to shine. Even though he was at the end of his road, before he left this world, he brought one more into the kingdom. So proud of my dad. Now, let me tell you, the clock's ticking. The clock's ticking to get on board. And if you go to church or synagogue, and all you do is sit there like a knot on a log, and then you have fried preacher for lunch. That's where, you go and you talk about the sermon and how poorly the rabbi or the priest or the pastor delivered it. Or you have such a fault, he should have combed his hair before he came. I tell you what, more people are going to go to hell for frying the preacher than for almost any other sin. The Bible clearly states you're not to diminish the leadership of God. That's Torah, by the way. And if you believe that the Torah is accurate, you should be more careful. But I want to let you know that, once again, Yom Kippur, you see the watch? Time's running out. And unfortunately, it's running out for the whole world. So be diligent. Do what you're supposed to do today. Yom Kippur starts tonight. Start repenting. And if you haven't started yet, you still have a full day. Make a list if you have to. Pick up the phone and call and repent. And if you owe money, pay the money. Okay? If you're in an argument, humble yourself. Oh, gee whiz. Let me tell you, Pastors, priests, and rabbis, they know about having to swallow the guff. But it would make it easier if on occasion someone actually humbled themselves, as much as we have to humble ourselves also. Time's running out. Yom Kippur is here. The Messiah is coming. He's coming. Don't get caught behind. And I'm going to suggest you hear a song today. Look it up on the internet or Spotify by Larry Norman. Say it with me. Larry Norman. I wish we had all been ready. One more time. I wished we had all been ready. Okay? Good song, especially for today. Take a moment and listen to it. Now, if you would, in that comment box over there, if you would write in, I wished we had all been ready. I'll know that, like myself, you see the time is drawing near. One way or the other, I'm going to see Jesus. May I go to him or he comes to me. Either way, I'm going to see Jesus. How about you? So may God bless you and keep you. Cause his face shine upon you. And if you would, hit the like box, hit the share box, and even hit the donate box. And let us see if we can't build the kingdom together. I wish we'd all been ready. Larry Norman. Okay? And don't forget to make the comments. So may God bless you and keep you. Cause his face to shine upon you.